she stood at the edge of her dream and almost walked away. Not because she wasn't capable, but because fear whispered louder than her purpose. In a quiet town just outside Port Harcourt, where the streets came alive with the sounds of morning vendors and distant traffic, lived a young woman named Amara. From the outside, her life looked simple, predictable, safe. But inside her, there was a fire, a dream she had carried since she was a little girl. Amara wanted to become a fashion designer. Not just any designer. She wanted to create pieces that told stories, clothes that made people feel seen, confident, alive. As a child, she would sit beside her grandmother, watching her sew old fabrics into something new. Torn wrappers became beautiful dresses. Forgotten cloth became something worth wearing again. That was where it began. A needle, a thread, a dream. But dreams, especially big ones, do not grow easily in small places. Years passed. Amara finished school and, like many others around her, took a job at a small office. The pay was modest, the routine was steady. Wake up, work, come home, sleep, repeat. Her sewing machine sat quietly in the corner of her room, covered with a thin layer of dust. Every now and then she would glance at it, then look away, because dreaming is easy, starting is hard. One evening, after a long day at work, Amara returned home exhausted. The power was out and the room was dim, lit only by a small rechargeable lamp. She sat on her bed in silence. Then her eyes fell on the sewing machine. For a long moment she just stared at it. Memories flooded back. Her grandmother's laughter, the hum of the machine, the joy of creating something from nothing. And then came the thought she had been avoiding for years. What if I try and fail? The room felt heavier, the silence louder. The next day at work, her boss called her into the office. "You've been consistent," he said. "We're considering you for a promotion." A promotion? More money, more responsibility, more stability, everything she was supposed to want. Everyone congratulated her. "You're lucky," one colleague said. "This is how life moves forward." Amara smiled, but something inside her felt still, unmoved. Because deep down she knew that was not the life she had imagined. That night she couldn't sleep. She lay awake staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the fan. Then she sat up, slowly, deliberately. She walked to the corner of the room and uncovered the sewing machine. Dust rose into the air. She wiped it gently, like she was awakening a part of herself she had abandoned. The first stitch was not perfect, neither was the second. Her hands were rusty, her cuts uneven, the fabric slipped where it shouldn't. She paused. Frustration crept in. "This is why you stopped," a voice inside her whispered. But another voice, quieter, steadier, spoke back. "Try again." So she did. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Amara began sewing every night after work. While others rested, she practiced. While others scrolled through their phones, she learned. Slowly, something changed. Her hands became steadier. Her designs became bolder. Her confidence began to grow. One day, a friend visited and saw one of her designs. "You made this?" she asked, surprised. Amara nodded, unsure. "This is beautiful," her friend said. "You should sell these." Sell them? The idea felt both exciting and terrifying. But this time she didn't ignore it. She started small, a few pieces, then a few more. She posted her designs online. At first, nothing happened. No messages, no orders, just silence. Doubt returned, louder than before. But she kept going. Then one morning, her phone buzzed. A message. "Hi, I saw your design. Is it available?" Her heart skipped. Then another message came, and another. Small beginnings, but real. Months later, Amara stood in front of a small crowd at her very first fashion showcase. Bright lights, models wearing her designs, her story, her journey. She watched as people admired her work, took pictures, smiled. Tears filled her eyes, not because she had made it, but because she had started. Years later, her brand became known across the city, but whenever people asked her how it all began, she would smile and say, "It started the day I stopped waiting to feel ready," and chose to begin anyway. Closing message. Right now, there is something inside you that you have been postponing, a dream, an idea, a path you are afraid to take. The truth is, you may never feel fully ready, but if you keep waiting, you may never begin. So tell me in the comments, what is that one dream you have been putting off? And if this story reminded you to take that first step, share it with someone who needs that push today. Because sometimes the life you are meant to live is waiting on the decision you are afraid to make.